Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. Today's video will be related to the top level EUC. Of course, that's in my opinion. This is Begode Mten version 4 and today I'm going to prepare it for daily usage regardless of the season or weather conditions outside. Of course, I will do the top level tuning for it, and during this assembly process I will show you guys all the interesting moments or issues I will find. So let's go ahead and disassemble it and see what's inside. Now I have disassembled the wheel. I have removed the controller board to prepare it for some tuning. I plan to install the ceramic thermal pads under the transistors of the controller board. Also, I will do some soldering of extra elements to trick the controller board for custom BMS installation, because I do have plans for installing custom high current battery for this wheel, and I will do high quality hydro protection with the special compound of this controller board. But before that, I would like to pay your attention on one important fact you have to care about if you plan to do the maintenance for your wheels, because I've seen lots of times in chats or in videos of some bloggers that it is enough just to disconnect your battery, to push the turn on button of the wheel, and you've done. Your controller board capacitors will discharge and you can continue work with your controller board. But this is not true. This is bullshit. I've showed you during the disassembly with my multimeter that there is still a lot of voltage, 20 volts. This is high enough to destroy your processor of this controller board, and this is what usually happens to the new buys and to the people who do not really know how this works, how to deal with that. There are lots of cases when people started to do a little bit of maintenance, something like tire change or so, and they damage their controller boards, destroying the processors, and that required them to buy new ones or to pay extra money for the repairing of the controller board. So my message here is that you have to be very careful and attentive working with the controller boards, and if you do not understand how does it work and you do not have any experience, it's much better to ask the repair shop to do all the maintenance for you. Otherwise you do have lots of risks losing your controller board and paying extra money for repair or replacement. I have disassembled the motor, and traditionally there is not very good quality of assembly, so you can see here the winding is not so accurate, like here and here and here. From the other side of the motor I have added extra fixation points to the winding, like here, 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 on this side also, and I've poured a lot of lacquer inside of this winding. Also I've covered with lacquer all the stator of the motor to make sure that it will be a rigid construction and it can withstand with all vibrations, and there will be no damage of the winding in future due to the vibration forces. I fixed the whole sensors board with the silicone to make sure that it will be able to withstand all the vibration forces as well. The main change in this motor is the replacement of the stock axle with the custom one. It was made by the EUC family workshop. Also it is available in Go Wheel workshop, so if you need one, if you need a replacement, feel free to contact them. I will leave all the contacts in the description to this video. I've done the axle replacement in this motor because there were several incidents with this Mten4 versions when the axle breaks down, even with the accurate riders. And for me it is very important to have a reliable wheel because it's just my safety when I will be jumping on the road. This custom axle has much more metal here, and it is made of high quality material, and all of this makes it much more reliable, and you can be sure that it will not crack during jumping in future. Also, I've made improvements to the motor covers. I've covered it with the lacquer from inside. Also, I have added a silicone gasket here. You can see it because it's transparent, but believe me, it's here. I've showed you already that I've done gasket on every motor that I have been working on, and this makes the motor secured from outside water or road reagents on other sheet to seep in. I gave these covers to the turner who made these holes much bigger, and now it is possible to install sealers here, which will also prevent the bearings and the inside of the motor from road reagents or water ingress, and it is now possible to ride this wheel, not bothering whether it's raining or snowing or something else outside. You just take your wheel and ride, and you're fine. I have disassembled the lights to do the waterproofing, and also I did some tuning for the front light. I have replaced the stock blue LEDs because I really didn't like the blue color of this circle, so I've replaced the LEDs of the white light. And one may notice that I've used the LEDs of wrong type or size, whatever, so this caused me a little bit extra work to do extra connection of the plus pin from the resistor, but this is not the problem. The reason I've made it is because I have this failed bulb. It's not working anymore, but it has fairly enough working LEDs. So I have desoldered it from this bulb and used it in my upgrade project. This is really awesome. I was too lazy to go to the shop to buy the needed ones, and I did a little bit input to the environmental protection as well by giving the second life to these LEDs and not just throwing them away into the trash can, which is really awesome. Also, I did the replacement of the resistors here for 51 ohms, which will make this circle much more brighter. I will put here some photos in this video, but believe me, in the real life it's much better than on the camera. And again, one may pay attention in comments that there is some extra LED here, which was put here intentionally, because before replacing of all LEDs in the circle, I did some testing. I soldered just one, tested it how it lights. I really like that, and then replaced the other ones, and I've noticed some asymmetry here, but I decided to disconnect it and leave it here as a spare one. For example, if one of the LEDs will fail in future, or maybe resistor, I will have the spare resistor and LED here to make the real quick replacement without bothering searching the new ones. You know, it's really hard to find something in your workshop, and here I have one already installed on this circuit board. So right now this circle lights as the daytime running lights. It's pretty bright and I really like that. Also, I've done a really good hydro protection for this circuit board. You may see how nicely it is shining in the camera and in the bright light. So I've put several layers of lacquers here where the LEDs and SMD components are, and also these contacts. And I did the same with the backlight as well. And on the other side where the traces are going, I've also put a lot of lacquer. So right now I'm pretty sure that I can take both these circuit boards, put them into the water, take them back, and they will be still working without any problems or issues. So right now I'm going to assemble back my lights and install them on the EUC. So I have disassembled the controller board to prepare it for further tuning, and what I have done firstly, I have soldered here extra resistors between plus, minus and the center pin of this power connector. You can see it here. This one is the center pin, and this is needed to trick the controller board so it will continue thinking that it still has connection with the stock crappy Begode proprietary BMS. Because this BMS gives here the signal that everything is okay, and since I do not plan to install this sheet, I need this signal to be back here, so these resistors are really needed here, and I plan to install this BMS in this EUC. I will show you a little bit later how it is connected, how it is wired up. Also, I have cleaned up a stock compound from the top side of this board because I plan to use a custom compound, which is thermal transfer compound, and I wanted to clean up all the elements to be able to give all the heat they will produce to this compound. This controller board will be covered up in brick-like form, so it will have some kind of heat dissipation from this compound surface in future. I did some polishing for this so-called radiator surface where will be power transistors located. It's now much better than it was before. You can see the difference, and when I'm moving my needle over here, I can feel those deep scratches, and here right now all the scratches are missing. Of course, this is not like the mirror one, but it's pretty okay for this surface and much better than it was in stock. I did the same thing for this surface as well, which will be connected to the inner shell of the EUC, and of course I will remove the paint and do some polishing for this side of the inner shell, which will be connected to this radiator, and I will use a good thermal paste to make the heat transfer as fast as possible to the inner shell of the EUC to make these power transistors as cool as possible. Also, I had some problems during disassembly when I have been removing the display module here. One of the connectors here took apart, so you can see it was installed like this, and it just came out, so the soldering quality here is pretty bad. I will of course fix that issue. This is not a real big problem, but this also tells us that every EUC out of the box needs very attentive inspection in every part or detail of the wheel to make sure that these issues will not come out in future, because EUC is highly vibrating device and it is supposed to make jumps with that, and of course that could cause some problems with that connectors in future.
Whip and the lyrics, everybody just love it. And people come and them say that we majestic. Who them a hype up, and me them a hype up. Murders on tune, murders on tune. Whip and the lyrics, everybody just love it. And people come and them say that we majestic. We kill a sound, yes we kill a sound. Murders on tune, murders on tune. Who them a hype up, and me them a hype up. Who them a hype up, and me them a hype up. Who them a hype up, and me them a hype up. Who them a hype up, and me them a hype up. Who them a hype up, and me them a hype up. Who them a hype up, and me them a hype up. Who them a hype up, and me them a hype up. Who them a hype up, and me them a hype up. Murder! hype up, I be them a hype up. What on the lyrics, everybody just love it. And people come and them say that we majestic. Who them a hype up, I be them a hype up. Murder some tune, murder some tune. What on the lyrics, everybody just love it. And people come and them say that we majestic. We kill a sound, yes we kill a sound. Murder some tune, murder some tune. Who them a hype up, I be them a hype up. Who them a hype up, I be them a hype up. Who them a hype up, I be them a hype up. Who them a hype up, I be them a hype up. Who them a hype up, I be them a hype up. Who them a hype up, I be them a hype up. Who them a hype up, I be them a hype up. Who them a hype up, I be them a hype up. Who them a hype up, I be them a hype up.
So I have assembled the battery. Now it has this kind of shape like a stock one, but the main difference between stock one is that I do have a lot of balancing wires here coming from this side, also the wires for the temperature sensors, and from the other side I have all power connections, and my custom BMS will be located like this from this side of the battery. I've made the decision for installation of my BMS outside of the battery just in case of whatever failure may happen with that. I can replace it really easy, just disconnect the wires and connect the new one. And even if I will have another model of BMS or the other brand, if these connectors will not suit, it will be an easy job to replace them instead of repacking the whole battery, because you have to destroy this heat shrink tube, you have to add the new one, you have to seal that with the sealant, and you have to wait a significant time to make sure that it's a hydro protected battery. So this is my decision to make my life much easier. I've replaced the power wires of the battery as well. Originally the battery had stock wires for discharge channel as 14 AVG gauge. I have replaced it with 12 AVG, and the charge port had 18 AVG gauge, and I've used 16 AVG. Since this is the high current battery pack, I would like to make sure that my discharge channel will have less voltage sag than the stock ones, and of course it can transfer much more currents without heating of the wires. And the same story about the charge channel. So I would like to be sure that I can charge my battery with 5 amps or more without bothering of heating of my wires and connections inside my wheel. I have replaced the stock power wires of my batteries as well, so now you can see they are also 16 AVG gauge wires. I've made the decision because I do not need my discharge channel coming through the BMS. The BMS will only work for the charging of the battery. So using these wires will significantly improve my cable management inside of this wheel. And also I have replaced the direction of my wires, so now they are coming from the front of my BMS. So it will also help me with the BMS installation inside the wheel. The EUC Family Workshop also made a custom handle for me. It differs significantly from the stock one. Looks much better, and the main feature of this handle is that it's really soft. You can see I'm bending it really easy, and this is really a high durable handle. It will not be destroyed in case of EUC crash. It will also help to protect the main cover of my EUC, because it will definitely work like a bumper and it will absorb some damage during EUC crash. So I have assembled the wheel, and let's have a real quick review how these custom details and all modifications work and how they look like. So first of all, you can see that the front light now lights with the different color of LEDs. Now it's not of blue light, it's white warm light, and I like it much better. I don't like this blue light. It looks like cheap and stupid in my opinion. That's why I decided to make this change, and now in my opinion it looks much better. Also, I have this extra mudguard or wheel cover from Alexander Vodnev. It is necessary to have such kind of mudguard just because it's really dirty in St. Petersburg in winter, and there are a lot of road regions, and it is really a must for installation for everyone who is going to use MTEN4 in such conditions which are different from the hot sunny weather. Here I have a charge port which is like in stock one, but on the other side there is no power button anymore. There is a button which controls the BMS. So now if I press it, I can see that BMS is turned on now, and I can use it. I can connect with my cell phone and check my battery status. And another cool feature of this BMS and this button is that I can just turn it off, or rather put it to sleep, like pressing it for 5 or 6 seconds, and now you see it's turned off, so my BMS now is not active anymore. This is really cool and useful. Let's move to this side of the wheel, and we can see how this custom handle is installed here. It's really comfortable to use. I really like it. And right near this handle I have two buttons. One is power button, the other one is motor cutout button. I have installed it according to my finger's comfort, so I will use this finger to turn my wheel on, and this one to turn off the motor, just to handle it with my hands and then turn it on back. There is no need to turn off and on the wheel anymore like in stock one. And of course those buttons have backlight, so it will be really easy to find them during the night time when there is a lack of lighting. Also, one may notice that I have covered the controller board with the special compound. I did the same thing with the BMS as well, and I prepared my wheel for extreme usage in spite of weather conditions or the time of the year, whether it's winter or summer. It doesn't really matter. I can just take my wheel and have a ride without bothering that something would happen with the wheel, that the water will seep in and there will be a short circuit and something bad will happen. Here I have custom pads from Mona Customized brand, which are installed above the stock pads. And one of the coolest features of these pads is that they have a special part for jumping, which helps make it really easy, and there is no need to install other special devices for jumping like Cobra jumps, muscles and things like that, which is really cool and awesome. I have here custom EUCU pedals, which are of the small size, which is really cool and suitable for this EUC. It has a sandpaper with some spikes, but those are not sharp spikes. You can see I am moving my finger easily and I do not have any damage. I don't have any blood coming. So those are soft spikes. They are not fixing you tightly to the pedal, but they give you an extra control, especially in winter conditions when the snow is collecting on the pedal and you do not have any grip with the sandpaper. Those spikes help you so much. Also, I have installed this custom handle from AliExpress. I don't really like it because it looks ugly, and also it takes some clearance from the wheel, so I have to take care when jumping off from the border stones. But I decided to install it because I will use this wheel mainly for commuting purposes with the public transportation, and this is very comfortable to use this handle to transport it rather than taking it into your hands and moving it from one side to another, because in Russia you can't write EUC in tube, and it is necessary to have this trolley handle to move it across the stations. Also, I've added here an extra mudguard to protect the wheel and the handle from the crap coming out from the tire when riding during dirty conditions, and that's really a soft mudguard, so if I would like to put my wheel on this kickstand, there is no problem. So you can see I can do it easily, and there is no problem for that. It doesn't crack or break. And of course, the main feature of this wheel is that it has now high current battery pack, which gives you not only the confidence in riding, because it will have much less voltage sag during hard accelerations, and even if the battery is about to run out of power, you can still use it running your EUC almost at the full speed. And also it gives a great opportunity of fast charging. This particular battery pack can easily accept 8 amps of charging current, which is really fast and which is a really cool feature for this device when using it as a commuter. Like, you have to go to one office to work there for 1 hour and then move to another one, and so on and so forth. And during these movements, so you came to the office, put it to the charger, and then work with your notebook or do something, and when you finished, you have almost charged the battery and you can go ahead and move to another location. It's really useful because it gives you a lot more opportunities in comparison with the stock ones. I will leave the links to the brands who develop these custom parts and tuning for the EUC in the description to this video. So if you like some part of this tuning or everything that was done, go ahead and order one for your EUC. That's about it. If you like this tuning I've done for this EUC, like this video, subscribe, leave a comment. See you later, guys.